Hello, got my hands here. This is Josh Zaylor. I wanted to make a quick video talking about my recent CD pickups that I got from Records Per Minute in Columbus. I was looking for another album that just came out, or it's a reissue that just came out, but they didn't have it, but that's all right. I'll keep looking for it later on. But I did get some good cheap pickups. We got first Bob Dylan, John Wesley Harding. I haven't listened to the full album, but I have listened to like the two or three albums before this where it's like the most famous Bob Dylan type stuff. This is getting into 67 though, and it's like he's already moving beyond the hippie stuff and trying to do something different. And trying to do some more country folk influenced or back to his folk kind of roots. Interesting album cover too, where it was like Indian musicians he got to join him in the album cover. I don't know what bearing that has to do with anything. Also, there's supposedly people said, "Oh, you can see the faces of the Beatles." I mean, with my reflection and everything, you're not going to be able to see it. But like it's like, "Oh, if you look close at like this top area, you'll be able to see the four faces of the Beatles." But that's like conspiracy stuff. That's not proven. The photographer's like, "No, that's not the case, but it does kind of look like them if you flip it upside down." Anyways, yeah, I listened to like half this album on Spotify. It seemed good enough and interesting enough and something I wanted to like sit with and think about. So I picked it up. The most famous song I think on here is All Along the Watchtower. All right. Yeah, and it's $4. Yeah, they got the price sticker right there on the, if it'll focus. They got the price sticker on there, and so you'll be able to see the prices. But yeah, for $4, it's not in the best shape, but it was like a CD or an album I'd just been thinking about. Then we got Bad Out of Hell, Meatloaf. I forget if was it last year or the year before or this year that Meatloaf died. I know it was somewhat recent. And so I had him on my mind, or that came up recently, and I was like, if I see Bad Out of Hell cheap, I'll grab it. So $2 is real cheap, and it makes sense. This is like one of the most well-selling albums, maybe more on vinyl, but like this album sold a ton then. It's been critically acclaimed pretty continuously, I think. Like to the point where it's like not as big a deal now. Yeah, I didn't know about this back cover until now. You can see it's kind of faded, or that's a scratch. That's not like a lens flare or something. And yeah, I think this is pretty good. I like punk too, and like this is kind of the opposite of punk, where you've got longer songs. Like if you're somebody that doesn't want longer songs, don't get Bad Out of Hell. Yeah, and the songs are by Jim Steinman. He wrote everything, and then Meatloaf sings on it and does a great job. It's an epic kind of love thing. I don't know how better to describe it. I've listened to it before, and I listened to part of it on the way home. Yeah, it's fun driving music, especially. Like, it's like, yeah, with the motorcycle there and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it didn't age well in terms of like, oh, this is a cool album. But I think it's good, and the musicianship's good, and like, it's fun to listen to, and good pop elements to it. All right, also for $2, we got a wild card. I assume the band name's Hater as well. I don't know a ton about this, and that's why I picked it up, because it was $2. And yeah, like they had all their CDs in somewhat alphabetical order, but it wasn't like perfect alphabetical order. So it's kind of, I think I'm more likely to pick stuff up then because you don't know quite what you're going to get. What did I think of this? Because I did listen to this full album on the way home from Columbus. I think it was hit or miss. It had some interesting type things. It had some like acoustic guitar. It had in it, but like it kind of had a psychedelic rock feel as you'd kind of expect from the cover. It's from 1993, and I feel like early 90s psychedelic stuff didn't age quite as well. I don't know. It kind of, I wasn't a huge fan of the drum sound on it, and some of the lyrics were like too knowingly silly, I'd say. They're silly where it kind of just feels like they're free flowing. With this, like the last song, Sad McBain, I don't know if that was like a Simpsons McBain reference. I assumed so. It just felt like too in on the joke or something. So, I don't know. It's okay. It was middle of the road. I don't regret getting it. I'll listen to it some more. I liked some of the interesting stuff they did where they had an acoustic, but they like mixed it with the electric in weird ways, and they hit some weird notes. They did some stuff with feedback, but overall it might be more mediocre. And usually that's kind of like the that's kind of the stuff nobody's heard of. If it's real bad, then you've heard of it, and if it's really good, you've heard of it. But like the stuff that's just kind of in the middle, you don't know about as much. And finally, we have John Prine and his debut album. I have not listened to this whole album. The only songs I've listened to are 6 O'Clock News and Sam Stone. But I had just recently been reading about this, and it says German import. I'm not even sure. Like, yeah, so it's like from the German label. I don't know. I haven't even looked up, like, oh, I assume it's not like region locked. I've never had to deal with that with CDs, so it should play on everything. But yeah, I picked this up because I'd just been reading about it, or I forget that 6 O'Clock News John Prine song had just came up. Very sad and dark songs. I felt both that and more so Sam Stone, which has the line, "There's a hole in Daddy's arm with where all the money goes," which is like the perfect addiction line in a song that I've heard. I know he died in 2020, and so I had him on my mind from that too. Um, Oh, and he said about the cover, because I was reading the wiki of it, that like he had never seen hay bales before in his life, but the photographer sensed his hick side. So they used that for the cover. And so I don't know if you want to call him out for being a poser in terms of country lifestyle. There you go. But a very good singer-songwriter, John Prine. I look forward to hearing the other songs he got on there. I might have to be in the right mood for it, and assuming everything will work fine with the CD. But yeah, $7. It seemed, I don't know, it was calling to me. Yeah, like these are all like cheap pickups. I mean, it's all under like $10, and I don't. John Prine's in good shape. The Hater one's in pretty good shape. I guess Meatloaf and John Wesley Harding, Bob Dylan's album, they're in a bit rougher shape, but they're cool nonetheless. This turned longer than I expected. I hope it's moderately interesting. I think I'll upload it on YouTube and maybe Facebook. But that's enough rambling. Bye.